Good morning, Queens College.
Good morning.
Oh, no. Good morning, Queens College.
Good morning.
One more time. I know it's early. Good morning, Queens College.
Good morning.
Right. Okay, guys. So, what if I told you that I thought about standing here to speak to you guys today about 3 months ago? I saw a flyer and I said to myself, I can do that. Not knowing that 3 months later, I would get the invitation from Professor Mitchell to be speaking here to you today. As you can see, here I am. Yes. A big part of why I was able to obtain this opportunity was simply because of my mindset. I decided to believe that I could achieve this goal and put my mind to it, and here I am standing here today. So, as you're going to hear me say, I'm going to have the words, my famous phrase, and you're going to follow along and say, I can do that. Let me hear you say, I can do that.
I can do that.
Guys, come on. Do you need to do some jumping jacks? Come on, let's get it together. Let me hear you say, I can do that.
I can do that.
All right, I'll work with you guys this morning. It's early. So I'm going to be showing you a few exhibits, is what I like to call them, of opportunities that I gained simply through Queens College and had the opportunity to embark on because of my mindset. The first one is an event called CUNY Service Corps, an internship program known as CUNY Service Corps. Who here is familiar with CUNY Service Corps? Students specifically. Oh, nobody. Guys, CUNY Service Corps is a really great opportunity for you to obtain internships. I highly suggest that you look into it because it's a really great program for up-and-coming students. But as I continue, CUNY Service Corps has this event known as Welcome Day. Welcome Day is something that prepares students and the interns for their upcoming internships, and it's an opportunity for them to kind of let off some steam, all right? I was sitting in this exact room watching a video that I'm about to present to you. I saw the students standing on stage talking about their Queens College chants, as they like to call it, and presenting to a number of CUNY individuals. Sitting here in one of these seats, I said to myself, I can do that, and I was able to actually obtain that opportunity the day of Welcome Day. So we can move on to the next slide.
Ready to take on the Service Corps experience.
We are the ones who keep things going. We are the ones who help the people. We are in the lead.
What do we do?
Okay, so this is what I saw when I envisioned myself being on stage at Welcome Day. Now let's fast forward to the actual day of the event. I was not planned to be a presenter. I came on as a student, as an intern, ready to begin the program, ready to have a fun time and start on Welcome Day, all right? But the actual presenter for the day was running late. So the director of CUNY Service Corps at the time began running, looking frantically for someone to go on stage. I happened to be standing right in front of her, and she said, Ashley, do you want to do this? I said, sure. And here I am, you can see on stage.
And today we're going to do the chant and call and response.
Please
You
give
guys
grace
are
to
going
the
to be
VIP.
loud and clear, right?
I need you guys to get loud, show them that QC Knight's power. You know we're going to represent.
Five, six, seven, eight.
QC Service Corps, who we are. Serving our city and playing our part. QC Service Corps, who we are. Serving our city and playing our part. QC Service Corps, who we are. Serving our city and playing our part.
Five, six, seven, eight.
Alright, so there's 2 takeaways that I had from this opportunity. You can go on to the next slide. 1, be ready, and 2, be on time. I did not know that I'd be presenting that day. I did not know that the other intern was going to be late. However, what I did know was the Queens College chant. What I did know was the location and to make sure to be there and to be there on time. I was ready and prepared for the opportunity when it came my way. So, for when you guys are in your opportunities, whether that's a business meeting, a job interview, going to class, do your due diligence to know what you have to do. Have everything prepared. And even when technical difficulties happen, like they did today, be ready to pivot, okay? And 2, be on time. Thankfully, I'm able to talk to you guys about this opportunity that I had. For me, this is a testimony. However, to that girl who was late, she can never talk about this. She missed out simply because maybe she ran late for the train. Maybe she didn't think about the traffic that was coming up, okay? Be on time and be ready. The next set that I'm going to show you is me on the cover of the Queens College magazine. All right. And you can go on to the next slide or go back. Great. So, by Dr. Nix, I was nominated to be on the cover of the Queens College magazine in 2021. This was a great opportunity for me, and the way that I had gotten this opportunity was I was sitting down at the dorms here at QC in the lobby, waiting for someone to come downstairs. And instead of going on my phone, looking at Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, etc., all of the social media platforms, I decided to sit, be still, and notice a magazine next to me. These magazines were of other CUNY students representing the CUNY colleges, so I guess it was called the CUNY magazine. And I sat there and I said my famous phrase, I can do that, okay? Lo and behold, a few months later, Dr. Nix had nominated me to be on the cover of this Queens College magazine. She did not know that that was something that I had in my mind, but she just thought that I would be a great candidate. So a takeaway that you can get from this is get off your phone. I know that we live in a social media world. I know that we live in a microwave environment where we want easy access, where we want to be occupied all of the time or the majority of the time. However, it's okay to be still. It's okay to sit down and do nothing. They say the best ideas come when you're doing absolutely nothing. Standing in line at the grocery store, waiting for someone to come to the car, waiting at the bus stop. Do not miss out on these opportunities for your next business venture, for your next book idea, your next movie idea, your next article, because you want to be occupied by something that could possibly be taking up your time. And one final point that I'd like to make is, go ahead. Be confident. Be confident. Confidence is your best outfit. You may not even look right. That happened to me. This is not a part of my presentation, but I came to an event here at QC not feeling my best, not looking my best, and I was able to speak at another engagement a few months later. Why? Because I was confident, okay? Wear your confidence like your greatest asset. If you fall, pick yourself up and walk off as if nothing happened. If you want to act like it happened, you can laugh it off, but still be confident, okay? Don't forget about the confidence. And we can go on to the next piece, which is the Q&A. So you guys had submitted some questions, so I have some questions and the answers prepared for those, and then as well as we can ask from the crowd. So I'll start with the crowd first. Do you guys have any questions for me? Yes.
My name is Jaquan Perry. I'm an accounting student and business enthusiast. I also volunteer sometimes. Your story has really inspired me with how much you've managed to have done and accomplish in life. What I really want to know is your time management skills and how you managed to maneuver and accomplish so much in the time that you have.
Yeah, sure. What I would say is, for one, I'm a very goal-oriented individual, so I kind of like to fill up my schedule. When I have a lot of idle time, right, I tend to procrastinate, I tend to not do what I have to do. So I kind of keep my schedule a little bit filled so that it forces me to do what I need to do in that set amount of time. So that's something that I would say to answer your question. Also, I'm a woman of faith. I don't know if there's anybody here, but that helps me a lot when it comes to time management as well, and helps me balance in life, okay? So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
No worries. I'm going to answer one of the questions that someone had sent, and if you're here, feel free to introduce yourself. Someone had said, how did you start building connections and get internships? So for one, CUNY Service Corps. And she also said, what is some tips/advice you would give a young female who is trying to pursue in finance? Is the person who asked that question here? No? So my response to this question would be to join the clubs here at Queens College. There's a lot of opportunities through the clubs such as Alpha, NABA, Ascend, the Entrepreneurs Club, and so forth. There may be some new ones as well. Winner's Circle is another one. Start your internships young, when you're a freshman, a sophomore, if possible, because the companies do like to groom individuals from a younger age till they're older. If you're older, that's completely fine, but still apply. I would say going through those clubs will kind of give you the inside scoop and also advice. You'll have a upper hand in a way, and also a guide. And another question that came was, looking back, what was one decision you made about college that had the greatest impact? This one I actually got from Dr. Nix. She had spoken to some students as well. And my answer to this would be going to college, so you guys are already in the right direction. My personal experience was, I liked school, but I didn't love school. I was good at school, I had the good grades, I did really well, I had the scholarship, but doing the homework, taking the exams, I don't know why, I felt like it was, I don't know, I just didn't love it. However, looking in hindsight, it was the greatest decision that I made because of the connections and the opportunities that I was able to obtain. Also, one of my best pieces of advice is to say hi. That one word has bought me so many opportunities, mentors, friends, relationships. This is my husband, my family, my child, just because of that one word. As an example, I was walking to a restroom and I met the director of, I think, Seek at the time, Denise Miller. No, or she was in Bala. And we just happened to interact in the restroom, and now she's my mentor. I've spoken with her, I've been in clubs with her. She had a ladies leadership loop. I was in that, and that was simply from that one word. Also, I would say compliment. If you're afraid to say the one word hi, pick something nice that someone else is wearing. Don't lie, right? If you like their shoes, if you like their shoes, say, hey, I love your sneakers. What's your name? Nigeria? Okay. I love your sneakers, Nigeria. Where did you get them from? Nike. Nike. Oh my gosh. We start talking about Nike. Next thing you know, I found out Nike has her own fashion business, and I'm an up-and-coming fashion designer, and she decides to hire me for her internship. That's the way things start sometimes. So if you're too afraid to say that one word hi, which I don't think you should be, because a lot of the times, if you're afraid to kind of go and talk to somebody, they most likely want to talk to you as well. So take that first forward foot to introduce yourself. But if you don't think you can do that, go ahead and compliment them and begin a conversation from there, all right? Do we have anyone who would call themselves an introvert here, or a quiet person? You. Okay, so I have a hack for you. This is something that I learned recently, which is kind of stay by the food. This one is a really great hack that I learned. I went to an event. I was just hungry and stood by the food, and then I ended up meeting a very famous videographer who has done tons of videos for a number of celebrities and just made a number of connections by staying by the food area. So when in doubt, stay by the food and say hi. Okay, does anyone have any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, what are your other, Carl Rachel, economics, yeah. What are your other,
Thank you. Yeah. What are your other passions/talents besides law and business?
Yes, great question. So, I'm a woman that likes to wear many hats. In addition to law, I love to sing, I love to dance, I run the tutoring and mentorship company, I'm a life insurance representative, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I love to act. So it's a lot of things that I do and that I balance like Jaquan had asked earlier. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Any other questions? Yes.
Hello everyone, my name is Damien Bram and I'm a major in business administration. I would just like to know, on the opposite spectrum of the introvert, I've been called an aggressive yapper. And I would just want to know, how do you balance presenting professionally while also still feeling like you're not changing something core about yourself?
I would say being true to yourself, but also being slow to speak, right? So really be mindful about the words that you say before you say them, and really take into account the environment that you're in, right? So let's say you are in an interview and you want to say some joke that you could think go either way. If you're speeding through your interview, that joke might just slip out. But if you're being slow to speak and really being mindful about the sentences, kind of pre-thinking about what you're gonna say, you may think to yourself, maybe not this one, maybe for the next conversation that I'm having with somebody else. So I would really encourage you to be slow to speak and mindful about what you're saying. Yeah. There was a question somewhere over here. That's not something.
I wasn't going to, but it was somewhere over there. But
Yeah, I did see something.
can you, and I'm just so proud of you.
Oh,
and I'd like to
thank
thank
you.
That's two lovely people. I'm just, as a QC alum, so I'm just so proud of you. Can you share with, especially the students, some tidbits on how to get out there? You shared about, putting yourself in the right place, but can you talk about finding a mentor, like really getting out there and kind of grabbing onto your destiny?
Sure, great question. One, ask. Dean Yearwood is an example of how bold I was to ask her to be my mentor. We went to go and meet her with Professor Mitchell, and we were about to leave the meeting. And I said to my husband, I said, I want to ask her to mentor us. And I was about to walk, I think I did, I walked out the door and I came back in and I said, would you be able to mentor us? And she said yes. With her busy schedule, she said yes. And what I would like to say to you is, one, don't be afraid to ask anybody. If someone is at the top of a company and you think, oh, they're way too big for me, oh, they will never talk to me, they will this, that, and the third. No. A lot of the times, people are looking for people to mentor. They want to mentor and help shape young individuals like you guys. Two, LinkedIn. I know LinkedIn is very businessy site, right? It's not the Instagram, it's not the TikTok. But if you want to find somebody, find them on LinkedIn. There was this, I forgot his name, I forgot what he did, but he works in the entertainment space. And he has a lot of Instagram followers, a lot of TikTok followers, a lot of all of those social media sites. I decided to reach out to him on LinkedIn instead and was able to acquire like a one-on-one meeting with this individual. Why? Because his LinkedIn is not as filled up as the other platforms. So go to where you see these professionals do not have the most amount of followers and etc. Also go to events. QC is great at hosting events. Like, claps to you. I think you guys should all give yourselves a round of applause, right? Because you're here today. You decided to show up. you decided to get out, and now you're meeting a whole number of individuals who can help you, in your future. 2, if you guys can see that bulletin board out there, look at the bulletin boards that are around the Queens College campus. I was always taking pictures of the flyers that were on those bulletin boards. I was always, if they had little tabs to take off, keeping them, taking them. Check your emails. There are a number of networking events sent to your emails about, essentially each and every single day. Look at them. Maybe pick one per week to go and attend, and just sit there, learn, experience, speak to individuals, and connect. So that would be my answer to that question. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, my colleague, Laura Abrams. By the way, Laura Abrams reached out to me about you, just to be clear on
wow.
that. Yeah.
Thank you.
So Laura Abrams has a promotion that she runs, Finding Love at Queens College.
Okay.
So I know Valentine's Day was last week, so it might be a bit late. Both you and your husband attended St. Francis Prep,
Yes.
which is close by, but
Yes.
you did not know each other at the time.
Uh-huh.
At Queens College you met him. As a matter of fact, he was on a panel discussion I was moderating with the Dean of Social Sciences during the pandemic, and he took an active part in that also. And he went on to, after Queens College, he went on to Columbia University,
Yes.
Teachers College, where he got his graduate degrees and so forth and etc. So would you speak more to that personal side, again, on behalf of Laura Abrams, promotion, Finding Love at Queens College? Oh, and I must add, they invited me to their wedding. And you were the 20th former students, actually, that invited me to their wedding. And I like students who met each other in my class.
Wow.
20, which might be a Guinness Book of Records someday, perhaps.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you find love on Queens College? The time in my life where to be honest, don't look for it, if that makes sense. I was in a very determined mindset I knew the next person I was gonna be with would be my husband, but I wasn't scavenging around looking for him. I made sure I look good now, right? But I was so determined and focused on my school. I was focused on my internships. I was focused on myself, helping my mindset, right? Like what I was talking about today. And I wasn't accepting nonsense, if that makes sense, right? There's this, that's okay. This book that I would encourage you all to read. It's called The Best Yes by Lydia Turquoise, right? She says that when you say yes to something, you're also saying no to something else, right? So when you say yes to that business meeting, you're saying no to maybe going to the mall. When you say yes to that party, you're saying no to extra studying time, okay? So when you say yes to the guy or the gal who might waste your time, you're saying no to your wife or your husband. So I would say pick and choose wisely. Also, learn from your past experiences. I don't know what you guys' relationship status looks like, whether you've had boyfriends, girlfriends in the past. But even if they were not perfect, maybe to you now they may not have seemed like the most beneficial, learn from them. See what you did good, see what you could have improved on as a person, and work on that. Also, evaluate those individuals that you were with. Why didn't it work? What are you looking for now to help you achieve your next person? Also, I wrote a list. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to do this, but that's just what I was guided to do, okay? I wrote a list with every single detail that I wanted in my husband to a T. And it wasn't about physicalities. Obviously, I said he needed to look good. You know, I had to be attracted to him.
Which I do.
But I spoke about his morals. I spoke about his faith. I spoke about communication, aspects that I wanted him to have. So really think about what your ideal person would look like and what your beliefs and your value systems are right now, because that will also help you when you are in your future or current relationship. Because if you plan to have kids, etc., all of that stuff is really important. But all in all, stay focused. And in your relationship, also stay focused. When my husband and I'll say his name Jimmy, so when Jimmy and I began dating and things were getting serious, I remember I sent him like a specific text message saying, if we continue to go forward, this does not mean that I'm going to slack off in my studies, right? This does not mean that I'm going to slack off in my internship. So I think it's really important that you have those conversations with your significant others so that you know you are working together. Because I had that tendency of getting into a relationship and everything else kind of fumbled. So if you're really in something serious, have that conversation and make sure it's somebody that you want to build with and have a lifelong partnership with.
Okay, so we have time for one more question.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all well. My name is Habushi Akopi. It's very nice to meet you, Ashley. I thank you so much for taking your time today and for everyone else that took part in setting this event up. So one key note that I realized within your talk today is you mentioned having faith.
Yes.
And as a very devoted, practicing, faithful individual, that truly hit me, and I believe that that's the most important thing before you take any step in life. I feel like that's the first step towards paving that path, towards success, and just having gratitude. So thank you for that beautiful reminder. And so the question that I had for you is, as someone who studied finance and later co-founded an education-focused business, I wanted to ask, how did your background in finance later help you set up and lead to entrepreneurship?
That's a good question. Yeah, and thank you for acknowledging that faith part. That's really good. I'm happy about that. I would say it gave me the knowledge that I needed. At least I was familiar with some of the things that I encountered when it came to being a business owner because of the various classes that I took here at QC. So the first time that I needed to know the different types of accounts that we needed to have for our business bank account, I wasn't having to search through Google, what type of accounts do I need for my business bank account? How do I handle this? How do I set this up? Because these are things that we discussed in class. I think it also it gave me like, when you have a degree, you have an upper hand, right? Which is kind of like the reality. So when going to like partnership meetings and saying that I had this background, in my bachelor's, having this finance degree, having this standing behind me was helpful to kind of get me on the one up and to build connections as well. And also, I would say, just really pay attention in your classes, like honestly. Really pay attention because they can really help. You don't want to be just dropped into the water, not having that background. You guys are here in school, you're paying for it, you know what I mean? Take advantage of these classes and take advantage of the clubs and even go outside and take online courses that'll give you more education when it comes to running the company. And get to know your teachers because Professor Mitchell has helped us so much, really. So don't forget about your teachers because they will help you excel and help you grow your company. So.
Yes, and that leads me to my second question. So as a woman of many hats myself, how did you manage your time and just kind of making sure that even though you reach far more than you can extend sometimes, I know I try to multitask, and how do you not lose yourself in the process and just make sure that, okay, I'm also being successful, but also, making sure that everything's down on track?
Yeah, that's a good question. Priorities, having, prioritization, deadlines, faith, and also, oh yeah, that's true, having a team, having a good support system that will help you, that will call you out when you're wrong, tell you when you need to take a rest, right? Like adding this new role about being a mom has been something, right? So things are a little bit rocky sometimes, but I think it's also being okay with that and giving yourself grace. That is one of the most important things that you're learning. Being such a high achiever, being such a go-getter, you kind of forget like that you're doing something good. I'm 24, I run a company, I have a kid, I'm married, like that's a lot of stuff. But I'll think to myself, oh, I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing enough. Like the imposter syndrome, right? Really take those times to look back at your history and see, man, I've been able to do this, that, and the third. I am doing good. I am doing good, and that is enough, okay?